All right. Hello, everyone. I am so excited. I'm excited to have this conversation here. I am the president of SoCal BDA. My name is Resnet. Hi, I'm BB, and I'm the vice president. Oh, it's my turn? Okay, my name is Alice Rash. I am the treasurer. Hello. Awesome. So I want to introduce to you two guests for tonight's show. We're doing this for the Black History Month celebration. Um, our guest published a book. It was called Black Deaf Lives Matter. So we have the illustrator here, as well as the author. The illustrator is Sean, and the author is Lissa. So Sean Richardson, this is his sign name. This is your sign name, correct, Sean? Yes, that's right. Okay, perfect. And Lissa, I want to double check that this is your name sign, correct? Yes, perfect. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to ask a couple of questions. We have a list of questions that we're going to ask of you. Now, we're not going to do it individual Lissa, you respond, Sean, you respond. We're just going to do it naturally and just talk and express yourself however you feel freely. So do you guys all have the book? Oh, I'm so excited. Awesome. Yeah, we have the book. I love it. So we want to jump into asking you questions about the book. So do you guys mind elaborating on that? Yeah, it was Lissa's idea. So let's have Lissa start. So I ended up getting the idea about a year ago doing throughout the duration of the Black Lives Matter protest, the movement. And it really bothered me that I couldn't go out because for those 7 months that I was pregnant and there was all these marches occurring and I wanted to do something. Okay.
And so I believe it's been about 4 years since we worked together. We had character drawings done. There's been research and thoughts behind how it's changed and shaped Black deaf history and culture. And how do we provide more deaf-friendly, accommodating things? So on the historical timeline, me and my wife, Marla, she was like, well, do you want something? Do you not want anything? What do you want to do? And it was just really conflicting. And there were still protests, movements was out happening, but we felt some kind of draw to provide a resource, knowledge. And so our leeway, our network for doing so was creating a drawing book, coloring book. And that would elevate deaf culture and the space between the two worlds. And it was so interesting. Initially, didn't know what to do. And it's almost as though the thought just kind of popped up about a year ago. And my wife definitely influenced me. And it just dawned on me, and luckily it did. We had no clue what we were going to do initially. Sean's kind of, so that was span history. there's been incidences of, going down the timeline, and over at Gallaudet, I mean, they had approached me about, what do you think of making a coloring book? And I was like, it never dawned on me. And so we had some illustrations, drawings added into the book, and they were just rough sketches, just the preliminary things. And we took a further glance at it, and it looked good. So I hopped on board and was ready to go.
That's awesome. That's wonderful. Is there anything else you would like to add to that question, the two of you? Okay, so let's just jump right in. So Sean, you've already had some drawings, some images, and you added some new images, correct? And so with the ones that you had, you just added those to the coloring book, is that right?
I mean, I started, so I started to get more familiar with the illustration process, the characterization, sketching. When they had approached me about the opportunity. It was like, well, do you have any affiliation with coloring books? Do you want to do a coloring book? And I saw it a good fit. So I looked more into it, using pictures, and it was a huge contrast. It's a new project. And so the whole process, the illustration, step by step, it's been fun. The two of us, me and Sean Richardson, working together, wow, it's been years. The whole creative and designing process, getting every nut and bolt, every detail. And it's so funny. And sometimes we'll place something down, it'll be a blueprint, and it'll just click, it'll look good just by the eye. And so we knew it was kind of autonomy. And so we were like, okay, so how do we keep this going? How do we, milk it? How do we avalanche this? And so it's what it turned out to be. Sean Richards saying, yeah, we've been in touch back and forth. I'm in Texas, she out in California. Yeah, we've been in contact. It's been through email. We went back and forth through texts. Me saying, so at the end of the book, now that it's all said and done, what do you want? What's the next step? They said, saying, I believe we're planning for a next step. So it was, I think, released February 15th. That's when it made its debut. So Sean Richardson commenting. So after everything is said and done, a few months ago, I believe it's February. I don't know exactly, but it was around then.
So that whole time, y'all were doing that during that whole time period?
So yeah, I mean, we just kind of took an overview look at what needed to be done, what our ideas were, how do we include these different cultures, these different windows, deaf, blind, hard of hearing, every facet of deaf culture, and how do we apply it for this? How do we show more of us? It was a month of feedback and a lot of critiques. We looked at stuff that needed to be rendered. And so we had a forum even for the comments, any feedback. So it kind of, the process was, it was amazing. Alice Rash saying, so quick question for you. I'm curious. I love art. I loved art ever since I went to Gallaudet, shared it. But for you, did you throughout the process have any struggles, any hurdles you had to jump over? What was your experience with that like? Any questions for Sean Richardson saying, yeah, I mean, a struggle is just kind of like a writer's block. When there's a hiccup in you and the art in the work. And so, I mean, it's almost every day, countless moments where I just had writer's block, mental block. So it actually helped to just take a step back, rather than resisting struggle and keep going at it, back and forth, doing the same old, same old. It was a good experience and moment to just recap, take a step back and revisit. There were times where my mood was up and down. My eating habits affected my mood. There were personal and internal things I was going through throughout the process too. Resident saying, yeah, oh man. I mean, BB, and I'm sure, Liza, you had a similar experience. Oftentimes, we'll go through writer's block.
Yeah. I am a professor. And so trying to do that and try to make something for like a 9 or 10-year-old child. It was a lot, but I was very thankful for Alice to personally connect with me so we can figure out these activities and have it age appropriate, because I didn't want to overwhelm the children. I didn't want to put too much in there. So I had to figure out a balance to create there. So I had to contact a lot of different teachers around the United States and just ask for their feedback and to figure out the best match that we could do for this coloring book. And, this was for children that are 9 and up. So I had to contact the right people in order to do that.
Oh, wow.
And that was really a
That was
tough
lovely.
part of that job, finding that activity and going and doing that work.
Resonant saying, activity. What do you mean by activity? Can you expand? Were there any problems?
Let me go back. So in my personal education, there wasn't any Black studies. There wasn't any Black deaf centers or showing that different cultures or having both of those cultures merge. So I just really wanted to make sure that was balance that was there so I can fight my own way of learning these meanings and these representations that I wanted to put in the book for other people to figure out. Because I wanted to have Black deaf opportunities where they can feel that they're proud of, as well as talking about the history, but also you're telling kids the honest truth about the history, like slavery. And I just wanted to make sure I had a balance about the great things that's in Black history or Black deaf history and the triumphs, and having the balance to show all that. But it was tough.
I was saying, yeah, wow. And I mean, wow. Honestly, it's touching. Thank you. You saying, yeah, wow. I mean, when I first, when I was growing up, the initial thought, adults, gotta read, gotta get some kind of education, go to university. And I mean, there are a few Black deaf institutes, some resources on the history, but I mean, the investments in seeing stuff actually now being invested into these institutions and spaces for us. I mean, I grew up with a hearing family. So, I mean, it really it took me out for a few years. And it was a huge culture shock. I felt kind of like I was stuck. I didn't feel like I fit in. I didn't feel same with the people in my space.
Yes, and I'm really thankful for all the researchers, all the Black researchers, the Black deaf researchers, all of them, because including my own work, it helped me support the different types of people in these communities. And I really am appreciative of all of them and all of y'all help as well, including my own work and just having a collaborative effort to figure out the right thing for the youth to be able to see. And it was amazing to be creative in this approach. And yeah, I'm very appreciative for that. Just for people in general, I guess.
Resident saying, yeah, they want to go ahead and start a conversation with like African probate, or they're having a gathering set in on for the book. And it's almost as though there's a lineage to it. BB said, oh, why is it only for university and higher education people, not for people, who didn't have the opportunity and resource to go to these universities? But because now the resource is there, it's amazing. I was right saying. So I want to comment on the various activities. For you personally, what was your favorite? I mean, within a book. And actually, this goes for you as well, Sean Richardson, if you want to weigh in.
That's a good question.
Oh,
Do you
no,
already know?
You know. So Sean Richardson commenting, well, I've made the finger spelling part, I believe. It's the lines for geared towards kids, adults, and when you're reading it, it's almost like what's the finger spelling when the parents and adults are figuring out.
Yeah, there's different quotes or different titles.
I was right saying, oh, cool. Yeah, I mean, for me, I liked it. That was my favorite. As to why, I mean, I've had grandkids. I'm sorry, and it's been really fun for me. They're coming to me for help. What does this say? Or I'm reaching back with them with resources, the education, teaching them. And so I think I have a total of 4. Yeah, total of 4 grandkids, all under the age of 8. Yeah. Yep, just 4. Two of which
That's
are deaf,
awesome.
and the other 2 are hearing.
It's amazing.
And it's so funny how the 2 deaf, they kind of took an early grab at curiosity, right, asking questions. The hearing kids, I mean, they enjoy each other. The 2.
Yeah, so the 2 for me, the African Maze, I really love that one. And I wanted it to be connected directly to Africa and the African flag to really represent that. Yes, exactly that. I prefer that. It was tough to draw, but it definitely was my favorite. My second favorite were the multiplication symbols. I really struggled, the math signs. I really struggled trying to decide which types of numbers to add and what to show, what would be a strong representation for the deaf children. And so I envisioned, I thought about STEM and science and math and technology and how to be involved with that and how to add that a part of this. And so often I really struggled with this, just for me personally, I struggled with these topics. And so I practiced the different math signs. I practiced the science signs and making up different symbols.
Wasn't I saying? I'm sorry. You had mentioned STEM. Is that what this is on this page? Okay, so it is okay, this is it.
Yes, yes.
So this is where a lot of people were taking it back from. The material was just not there within certain families. And now you've given a recipe kind of education where they can take this book home. It's a resource for learning where kids now can make
right.
They don't have to go to school, to have stuff like this. They can have it now, home. I mean, if their parents
right, exactly.
I was actually thinking, oh wow, yeah. I mean, it's amazing. So real quick, I do have another question. So I know you both have affiliation with Gallaudet, and will you guys offer a next thing in the future? Is there another book coming out?
I don't know. That's up to Gallaudet. Lissa is saying, I'm not sure. There's many people that have the book and that want the book, so they're requesting it.
Alice, yeah. I mean, I have an idea. If you don't mind recommendations.
Oh, bring it on. What's the idea?
It it would be nice if we could make kind of like a what's it called? I believe it's Yurman, if I'm saying that correctly. But he is, of course, Black, and he is all encompassed, involved with the sciences, arts, and he's done work for, you know, the Blooms, I believe. And it was just really amazing. I mean, I was reading the card, it had his information, and I had no clue of his involvement with this kind of work. And I think that it'd be perfect for Black Deaf, for BLDN, you know, for however they identify, for just to see themselves, you know, in something, whether it be sciences, whether it be the arts, but you know, just something, you know, here or there we could offer. But don't steal mine, you know.
I think feel that Sean and I, about 2 years ago.
Yeah, we were mixing something. We were playing some kind of game, and I think that'd be kind of cool to offer. I was saying, yeah, if we, I mean, you know, whether it be for the kids, for the adults, for the family. I mean, it's just something that's there for them. Is to say, yeah, that's something they can all do together. So ResNet's also coming in. So who now is planning on? So for the college courses, do you plan on inputting this and having this inserted in some kind of study? He's saying, well, I haven't contacted.
I haven't contacted them yet because we're trying to see how it would look like for buying books for all children in the classroom, so we can have a discounted price for that, for like a wholesale. But they have not contacted me yet. Yeah. Yeah.
So I noticed that right now for Black History Month, there isn't like a continuing thing going on, like for the deaf community. Like I would see that they post on Facebook, they posted the book on Facebook, and so I've seen it kind of spread. So that's a good start.
Oh, so I want to see what happens next. You know, maybe they'll make other books or cards. And I really believe more Black deaf educators are going to have more resources for the Black deaf communities and students, you know, to take back home to their families. You know, I know it's out here because we really need it. And honestly, this is the time Black Lives Matter. It really impacted people. And it started to get people motivated to create things and to pull people together and to invite people to come together. And that really is very inspiring, to become a part of something, to lead and continue on. And like with Sean, the Black deaf artist, like, wow, look at this. Like being able to be there and support that, and the interpreters, having them collabing with stuff like Black Lives Matter. It's so amazing. I can't wait to see what happens next. And ResNet saying same. Sean is saying, someone contacted me. I believe it was a professor or something. Very excited to see the book. And bought a few more books for the school, actually. And I thought that was so nice. Going back to Alice. The institute that I work at, Riverside, in the Riverside School of the Deaf, the library, it has the books. And I'm so excited because I believe many schools need to have this book. It's a really great thing to have in history and to keep forever. When we think about Black Lives Matter, when we see all these things emerging, we understand that it needs to be shown, and it's time to be proud of it and really cherish these moments and the things that we have, and to lift up each other. And that started within 2013, correct? Like that's just how it's been, and it's time. Where are the books? Where are the research? where is that? Where is me? You know, where am I in this history? Where's the representation? And we want children to be able to really be proud of their culture, being Black and being deaf and being able to tell the whole world that. And so, yes, I'm just so excited. Obviously, I'm just so excited. And when I got your book, it
Yeah,
just
it's
made
important
my
for the kids
heart
to know.
flutter. It's really a blessing. And thank you so much, Alyssa and Sean, for doing this.
Yeah, thank you. It's really important for kids to know their worth, and not just one time of the year, not just for the month of February. Their history, their culture, their identity, it continues on, not just in February. So it's time to learn their history themselves. We need more of that. We can't just cut this off when February ends and then they
It's not
don't have
enough.
access or resources to any of this type of content anymore. And that's exhausting.
Yes, continue on. That's what Sean is saying. BB is saying, I also want to add to with Sean. Honestly, to me, when I see signing with a Black character, I've never seen that before. I think this is my first time. And I was like, wow, it really stuck with me to see a picture, to visually connect with a picture. It's wow, thank you.
Sean saying, yeah, I mean, the illustration process with the signing and the detailing took a tremendous amount of time. I had to be very knowledgeable with signs, hand orientation, and every detail within that.
Have you worked with other companies to do these illustrations, BB is saying, or this is just your first time as well that you were involved, or did you have other work or projects? I want to know a little bit more about you, Sean.
I mean, well, about 2 years ago. I mean, it's been a hot minute. So doing the I'm sorry, interpreting. So during the publication part,
Sean, can you do it again? Can you say what you said again?
Silent Need Publications. It's about a few years ago. It was another deaf publisher. I can't remember. I believe it was Nefo Expo. Prior to that, they started deaf publishing, and I mean it's been Sign News, I believe. Also, we're involved. I mean, it's been a long time coming. It's been beautiful. Um, I mean, that was well before stuff had become popular with like articles. Now newspapers that are just not as popular anymore. A lot of the stands and these old style places where you can get these resources are they're closing. And so now for me, I mean, I don't draw much. I don't draw too heavy. I'll do probably, a few minutes here and there, do some illustration work, take a break, just kind of bounce back and forth.
Resident is saying, wow, you're skilled. You are an expert. And you being a Black deaf artist, just wow. I'm really happy that I met the both of you and that you got a chance to expand your disposition about this. Oh, can you explain? Sorry, interpreter error. Can you explain how you both met each other?
All right.
A deaf people of color art museum. I was looking around and Resident was letting me know, I know this person is so perfect for this type of event. Yeah, Sean Richardson, go ahead and contact him. And I was like, please contact us. And during that time, I was looking at the different art that he made and I bought one of his illustrations. I believe it was the Martin Luther King I Have a Dream photo. It's really famous. It's inside. I think there's a picture inside of the coloring book, actually. You could see there. Yes, that's the one. I have that one. I have a big portrait of that one. on
Oh
my
yeah,
wall,
that's
and
the
it's
best
so
one.
nice in my office. So yeah, I got that in 2016, I believe, and ever since then, I think that's how I connected. And I thank you so much, Resnet, for giving me the opportunity to meet Sean.
Sean saying, yeah, I mean, she was the first Resnet, actually, was the first person I believe. What's your signing? Oh, that's your signing? Ah, okay, got it.
Yeah, this
So
is the
anyway,
signing.
Resnet was the first person I met, and I remember her saying, I enjoyed watching you. I enjoyed watching your illustrations, your work, um, and it kind of looked.
Yeah, it's really good. Or it wasn't really good.
Thank you. I mean, honestly, Resnet was the one that introduced me to Lisa, and then once we got connected, yeah, it's. I mean, we got on the ground running. We've been doing how long? When we first started the project, I believe.
We have one illustration of a Black Deaf chapter from my Black Deaf class, and we had chapters on that to help Black Deaf education show what that line, what those boundaries look like, and the three different projects.
Resnet is asking, yeah, that timeline, do you have it?
Yes, you can find it on my website at www.drlissad.com. So if you go to my website and you look at the tabs at the top, if you click at the top for services, you'll see the drop down, and you can.
Where's that at? We're at.
Yeah, so on the website, after the home
Okay,
page,
yes.
yeah, so you can contact me anywhere when you press that button and click that down, the drop down button, and I will provide these services for free. And we can get the work started.
So also on that website, you could see a timeline from slavery to all the way to Black Lives Matter in the resource tabs. I also have Black Deaf history, different things mixed in there with pictures from Sean as well on my website. Wow.
Resnet saying, wow, I mean, it's almost like seamless how this all just happened.
Yeah, I learned so much from Sean, and I'm so happy we connected. And I love to research. I love to dive deep into research, especially. And it's really hard sometimes to figure out how to change research to something more visually appealing. And so being able to work with Sean and working with an illustrator, you could see that visual come to life almost. And it's very complicated to make those concepts and research easy to see in the picture. It's not simple. And being able to do that, it really shows everything and it says everything.
No, Alice, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Sean. Sean saying, oh, yeah, I mean, the whole drawing process has been thoroughly enjoyable. I loved looking at creative resources, how I could make this more than, and really, driving in the researching part of the art for deaf schools. I wish, there was more resources, contacts, and connects for stuff like this. And if you can, I mean, it's been thoroughly enjoyable.
That's really nice.
So in this file, oh, go ahead.
So yeah, I'm curious. Do you have any of this archived? Is this saved somewhere?
So I'm thinking I want to find a place to put it, like a common core. Again, I work in a university. I'm a professor, but at the same time, there is many professors that I have to ask and connect with to ask, is there anything Black Deaf youth related that I could use, that I could put in my classes? So I'm usually doing this often because again, in the university, the research is not
Yeah, that's
appropriate
true.
for
That's
the youth.
true.
And so it's a good start, but again, some people, for right now, homeschooling right now for kids, like
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
you see that there's different activities to do at night,
Yeah.
and very nice again to
Right.
have homeschooling and the curriculum within there. You know, in general, you could, the point is to really expose different things and activities that are hands-on for
Mm-hmm.
families with children, and to be able to really accommodate that. And it doesn't always have to be
Yeah,
a
you're
common
right.
thing, but I think it's appropriate to find things that are appropriate for the classroom for like a homeschool setting.
I like your book design, how your book is designed. It's very, the colors are very neutral and perfect. It doesn't feel offensive or insulting when I'm going through the pages. It doesn't feel like it diminishes me or anything. Like I feel so much joy flipping through all of those pages, and just, it just made me just really love how the book was designed. Both of you, the pictures and how it's the visualizations are drawn out, and the kids, and
Yeah.
it's just, I was just excited, and I think that is really cool.
And thank you for that point. Me and Sean, we discussed a lot about colors and what we really want it to look like and how we want the representation to be, you know, because it's really important. It's Black children. That is the point. And at the same time, we wanted to show diversity. For example, people who look like they're gender neutral, try not to just say there's a boy and there's a girl. There's different identities on there. And sometimes there's people who are gender neutral. And I wanted to make sure that was represented there and to balance that diversity effort within our coloring book, as well as like deaf blind or deaf plus and etc. We just wanted to make sure all Black people were included in this, because not all Black people are the same. And as you can see here, ResNet is showing on the picture the different
That
type
is
of Black
beautiful. I just
children.
love that. I love
And
that.
that was important.
Sean saying, yeah, I mean, the showing the variations, proper representation for, multifaceted for blind, deaf, blind. And as you can see here, let me see. Can you see that? Oh man. I mean,
Yes.
I only know one person who's deaf blind, who their grandmother was an illustrator. And they kind of favor each other.
Mm,
Hmm.
that was an honor. Wow. So did you know who that was? Mm,
Sean saying, yeah, I mean, I contacted them, been in cahoots trying to figure out. But I mean, we've been in Texas, the storms and a lot of stuff has been just canceled and closed. So it was the worst kind of timing. But I did try my hand at contacting them, but we'll see. I plan on reaching out to them. Let me see. I have about 3 of these. And so, but a total of 3 characters who I can
That's
kind of put
cool.
a face to. And so I got, just kind of like an Easter egg.
That's nice.
nice.
About 3, yeah.
Wow.
I'm tempting to ask this question. Let me think about it. What do you
Mhm.
want to ask? BB is saying.
Yeah, what's the question? What's the question?
So Sean's saying the African dress. It's from Houston, I believe. And then the other Easter egg, I guess you could say, was the tall man with the purple shirt. Very, very tall man. He's also from Houston. So, yeah. Yeah. So I can go on about the company, but no. I'm just being neutral. I'm being neutral here.
BB said, yeah, it was so funny. Okay, what was the woman? She had the African garb. Are there any other characters who were kind of inspired by these moments in life?
No, when I think of those characters and their faces and that person, I wanted to,
Wheelchair.
I wanted to add a person who's a wheelchair user in it as well when I was drawing these illustrations. I've only done that about 2 times. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I wanted to have these things that you could see through the illustrations, little messages that'll be there that people can visually see. It doesn't have to be obvious or bold, but you could still kind of see these little hidden messages that we put throughout the book. So yeah, that was really the goal.
Resnet saying, so question. I have a personal favor. Do you have a specific sign, be Black, Deaf, American Sign Language? Do you have a one that you favor the most? Oh, what's this one?
The bathroom. So this is the sign for bathroom, and I think you'll see it up there on top, the different sign.
Sean is saying, what did
Sean,
you say? What page is that?
page
Oh, okay.
19. I
Okay,
think it's the
got it. Thank
bathroom. I
you.
think it's the sign bathroom. Am I correct? Or Tuesday bathroom? Is it bathroom? Which one? What did it look like again? Did it look like
Is this
play?
one? I mean, well, I talked to a man that was from Louisiana, Alabama, and we had asked, "What's the sign for bathroom?" And so he showed us, the sign, and this is what he did.
He did this with the Y. Looks like this.
Yeah, and it's so funny. And this is just what he told me in his class. And so teacher, one day was like, "Oh, go out to the bathroom. Go out." And so it was this expression, and this is just the evolution of it. So
That's just saying,
I
oh,
mean,
wow, that's cool.
that's that. Yeah, that's a much older sign. And cheeks puffed out like this. Yep.
So I was so excited to see this one in the book, as you can see there, because right, it's this sign. I can show you right here on the side what it looks like.
Mm-hmm. And it's like I'm ready to go. Like I'm ready.
And I'm so excited about this sign because some people do not know what this means and where it came from, and that it actually came from Black American Sign Language. It was wonderful to see that so I can let people know, stop thinking that ASL is only one language or it's white language or something of that nature. Think about the different dialects within this language. And I was just so excited to see that, to have some evidence or documents so people can visually see and know that it's more than just the standard American Sign Language that we see. And hopefully other Black American Sign Language linguistics can use this type of illustrations to show other people. And it was very eye-opening for me to see that. I was excited. I'm like, you've never seen this sign before? I can't even remember who even taught me this sign, but I just knew it. And I know California, they don't really sign that. So yes, thank you so much for that representation and to fill in that blank for us.
Oh yeah. And I did think about more so BSA, Black American Sign Language.
BB is saying, do you know what state that the sign came from?
Oh yeah. It was a gentleman from Maryland.
Oh,
and
okay.
and he was showing me a video of a woman signing this. It was this exact sign. So
So cool.
And we did have an interview with it was two people, two different guests. One was a gentleman from Alabama who I mentioned previously, and the second was another guest from Texas. And that was actually my mother-in-law. Yeah, surprise, surprise. But she is also
Cool.
Black, Deaf. And so BDO. So in Texas, we have, okay, so what is it? It's, so for blind it was deaf, B, blind, D, deaf, and O, I believe, orphan. And typically orphan was, for hearing kids. They had three other facets. They had blind kids, right? They had deaf children.
That's
And
interesting, BB is saying.
and they also had B orphan, I believe, Black Deaf Orphan, BDO.
It's a nice mixture, Resnet is saying.
And that was over in Austin as well. Yeah.
Oh.
So it's nice for you to comment and let us know the reasoning behind that book. BB is saying, wow, I didn't know that I still had so much to learn. There's still so much information out there and different places I need to contact and friends from back in the day with Black Deaf Lives. And it's just really important to learn more about this and continue. And I want more. I want to continue to know more because BASL, I don't know much BASL, but I definitely want to learn more of it.
And that was really the goal, for people to want to learn more and to find more information, because finding everything was tough. We had to really dig deep and get certain things that was out there in a singular form. And it was almost like we were hungry for it. We really, really wanted to get this information, to start this conversation, and to start the motivation for people to learn more about this community.
Resnet is saying, I wonder if BLM, Black Lives Matter, when it started in 2013, there was some backlash about it. So I'm wondering if the Black Lives Matter movement, if that really pushed the start of this new movement here or of your coloring book. What do you guys think?
For me, I needed something to do to be involved in this. I wanted to do something. Everything was happening quick, fast, and I just needed to be able to do something. I've seen all this oppression, all this racial oppression happening in front of my eyes, and I'm just like, what do I do? What is the time, or when is the time to do something? I was pregnant during a pandemic. I feel like I was stuck, at a certain time. And so this book, let me back up actually. But Black Lives Matter, I feel often the comment is we need to fight right now. But at the same time, we want to envision or reimagine what our future will look and how that could all align for what we're doing now, right? To finish, eliminate discrimination and the oppression. And we want to see this new future. And I wanted that book for kids to have the opportunity to learn themselves and
Right,
have
true.
this open dialogue about oppression and be able to fix the things and to continue diversity and to learn the true history about the history and not having it whitewashed, and to really see this full picture of how everything that went happened and how it happened. So
Alice is saying, right.
I wanted children to see themselves in a good light and to be very proud of their culture and their identities. And so for the people, generations behind, like slavery, anything that happened in the past, we're still proud about things that happened. We're not embarrassed. We're not shameful. That is not what we're about or what we're doing. We need to still fight and have the resistance to keep going on. And I really wanted to show that through this book and show that the history is there and that the world has different types of people, different types of Black people. And it's not just one person. It's not just one Black person. We're not monolithic, right? We are these different people, and within this rainbow, there is straights, there is disabled individuals in the community, and we have a colorful community within our own community, right? And there are just so many different things and people that I wanted everyone to be able to see and to envision that, and I wanted to give that through this book. And it's not always talking about oppression, because that's not just my identity. My identity is not oppression. That's not what it is. I want to be able to have other people look and see the world that we could possibly have if we fight for it and the good things that's within it.
Right. Alice is saying it's time for that positivity.
Yeah, and it's true sometimes.
BB saying, yeah, I mean, for all Black deaf, we want to, offer something for them, for to show improve. We can, there's a process held in that. There's a life in that. And so what are we going to do to kickstart them? How are they going to pick up the next step? So we have to be there to encourage and open the door for them. And it's been awe-inspiring, and it's been amazing, truly an honor. I do thank you both.
Yes. The Black deaf kids in our community, that's what we need to provide for all of our kids as well. Not to separate them. It's about all of them. All the kids need to be provided the accurate support and uplifting
Bibi
that
is
they
saying
need.
you're right. Resnet is saying just true. Our children need more education.
Sean's adding comment. Yeah, and I thought LA and SoCal deaf.
So did
and
I, Bibi is saying.
hearing and
I thought the same.
We're just talking about that.
I mean, when I first met Resnet, in Gallaudet, it was just sporadic. It was just a normal day, everyday conversation. Deaf, identified, and interesting for BDO. If you take a look on the back, it's so funny. They mentioned hearing. I mean,
Yes.
I was blown out of the water. I mean, I thought
That was 2
deaf.
months ago, Sean. Do
Right.
you know that? That was 2 months ago.
Wow, Resonant saying, yeah, wow. I had just completely wiped my memory of that. I could not remember. Maybe saying, yeah, and it's so funny to see the deaf roles and characters and seeing them just roll off the page.
So I want to talk about Lissa's comment. So I was happy to get this book, and I know you mentioned talking about the kids and them opening up the book and being able to see and feel inspired and proud and be able to imagine all the possibilities and be able to post these different drawings on their walls to expand their imagination. So I'm excited to hear the comments that will come of your book, and that's something that I'm really looking forward to and I'm excited about.
Yeah, listening. There was a comment page on funds that were going into the university, and they wanted, again, I wanted the kids to see Black universities. We have them. They're there. They're actual places. They exist, and so I want to offer the space to honor the individual. For them to be able to read and to visually see Black culture. And it's, Black deaf go to universities. We go to these higher education spaces, and often, I mean, it's just big. It's important.
Like I constantly went to this university, and I loved seeing the involvement of this Black deaf group and their theater, their dancing competitions, and I was just in awe to see that. And I loved that my friend invited me to go and socialize with the various people there, and just wow, I just felt I didn't feel like anything was off balance. Like I felt proud, and I was excited that I shared that same experience with them. And yeah.
So Resnet saying, I would love nothing more but to keep going, but we do have some last minute questions, comments, if you guys would like to offer any. No?
Sean, do you want to start?
Sean saying, I was extremely happy to even be a part of this, of the book and its process. And, deaf people can see the various resources out there. They have the opportunity for education, for exposure to their history. And the idea of people, learning from Black deaf, our culture and community being that language and education source. I mean, I don't know how best to say, but we have to keep getting this out there, getting the exposure and resources there for Black deaf, and for Black deaf education, right? I mean, I was thrilled.
Yeah. I want everyone to have this book with these Black deaf individuals, kids,
I
adults.
mean,
I want them to read it and go through the pages and feel these various emotions. And I think it's really important for people to know that the book, when you buy the book, 40% of its proceeds go back to the Black deaf community. Yes, it is an opportunity to give back to the Black deaf community, 40%. The National Black Deaf Advocates subscription. If you already have a subscription there,
oh wow, thank you. Be the
and
same.
so you can decide to support through that outlet. And we need more deaf classrooms during these fall semesters. I would love to give this book out to all of the kids, and so that all of their imaginations can grow and they can start figuring out their path and knowing that they have support for their path. So, yeah, I'm just really excited about that.
Yeah, wow. Resnet is saying thank you a million to all of you guys.
Lissa is saying thank you.
And it's, I mean, I'm looking forward to what you guys have more of to offer.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much for being so willing to do this. And I had fun. This was fun.
I was saying, yeah, if you guys have the opportunity to take a picture with the book, we can kind of do a little, silly pose or whatever, and so you can get a group shot.
Oh, goodness. I don't have my book. Oh, hold on. I don't know. I'm looking for the copy of the book. I don't have it. I think I left it. Okay, well, I guess I'll just have to take the picture without the book. Alice is saying, here, I have two. So I'll just give you one through the screen. This one's for you. Okay, you guys ready for the picture? Okay, I'm putting the timer on for 5 seconds, Resnet is saying. Awesome, got it, Resnet is saying. All right, perfect.